Welcome to the Write.Publish.Market podcast. If you're a business owner thinking a book would be a great marketing asset for your business, you're in the right place. Maybe you've already committed, even better. I'm your host, Jodi Brandon, book publishing strategist and partner for business owners, CEOs, and entrepreneurs, and 20 plus year veteran of the book publishing industry. On the Write.Publish.Market podcast, in addition to learning from me and other industry experts, you'll hear from other business owners about their experiences as we explore all facets of writing, publishing, and marketing a book that will help your business grow in ways you might not even be dreaming of yet. I'm so glad you're here. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome to this very special episode of the Write.Publish.Market podcast, because today is book launch day. I'm tired but excited. If you've launched a book before, or even if you haven't, but you've likely launched something else if you're a business owner listening to this podcast, you know that there's a lot of time and energy that goes into any kind of launch. And that is very true of a book launch also. But I am trying to manage my expectations because you've heard me say before, book marketing is a very long game. So I'm trying to be excited and channel that excitement into this launch now that the book is finally here and available, but also being realistic that this is a very long game that I'm playing. So yeah, I had hoped to line things up so that we were celebrating the 200th episode of the Write.Publish.Market podcast with the book launch, but hashtag life happens. So let me bring you up to speed though, because this has been a special series we've done here. I believe this is part 7 that we are recording here now, that the book is out into the world, available for people to purchase and read and, use to help them write, publish, and market their own book to use in their business. So things have been happening. I have been very busy since the last update episode. So basically, we moved into production, and that's where, the book starts to look like a book and not, a double space, 8.5 by 11 page, living within Microsoft Word or a Google Doc. It's a really fun part of the process, because even getting those typeset pages back where, you can see the book in its actual book size, 5 by 8 or 6 by 9, whichever, those are the most 2 common trim sizes for business owners writing books. Mine is 5.25 by 8.25. 5 by 8 is, the shorthand for that, but the technical size, 5.25 by 8.25. But you really start to see some things come together during the production phase. And that's where I've been. So, I talk a lot about using those pockets of time created during book production, right? The book was with a copy editor for a while. The book was with a typesetter for a while. Then the book, was with a proofreader and an indexer. And all the while I'm, drafting emails for the book launch team and launch cheerleaders and emails for, sales sequence to go out later this fall, and thinking about book marketing and a holiday promo for, Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday weekend, all of those things, making sure all the tech is, good to go on the back end so that the tech gods don't betray us on launch day when people are coming to the website trying to buy the book, and beyond launch day, but just, So, getting that book team together, all of those different people. Now, I realize that I'm very fortunate because I have a lot of colleagues and friends in this industry to pull from to be those different team members for me. So I didn't have to do a lot of the legwork that a lot of my clients have to do. Even when clients ask for suggestions for a copy editor or a typesetter, et cetera, I will give them, a couple people who I think would be a good fit for them, but then they still have to talk to those people and do the legwork. But I didn't have to do a lot of that because I already know these people and I know their work, et cetera, et cetera. So, I assembled that book team. I waited patiently and nervously, as all people writing a book do, for edits to come back from my copy editor and to see, what the typesetter came up with. We finalized the book cover. Note that means the spine and the back cover as well, not just the front cover. We changed it up a little bit this time. I was working with someone different this time. I was working with Susie of Creative Blueprint Design. And we decided to change things up a little bit and switch from the yellow that I loved from my first 2 editions, but to go with one of my brand colors this time. And so we went with the light sagey green color, with the dark blue text to really make it pop. And I love it. I mean, I loved those old covers so much, but I love this one equally. if not more. So that's been exciting. Just really seeing it all come together. Getting the proof copy in the mail is obviously one of the most exciting parts of the whole process for any author, is when that first, package comes in the mail and you see, a real book. Even though it's coming, when it actually comes and happens, it's very exciting. And then after that, like a whole box coming is obviously super exciting as well. So we've got some fun things planned, here in the short term for the book launch, but then also in the long term, just seeing different ways we can, bundle the book with existing and not yet existing, but ideas that I have for, trainings and master classes and other products and things like that. So I'm excited to sort of test some of that out. Hey there, business owner and aspiring or published author. Sorry to interrupt this episode. Just wanted to check in and see if you're subscribed to Coffee and Commas, my email newsletter, where I share behind the scenes, industry info, and much more about writing, publishing, and marketing a book for your business. Sign up at bit.ly/coffee and commas sign up. That's all lowercase. Now back to the show. We ended up doing a Google Doc workbook as for the bonus resources for this book. So, we've got the links sprinkled throughout the book and the ebook, which is exciting. But that obviously was something new to us here at Jodi Brandon Editorial this time. So making sure, that was all set. The email sequences were set up and tested and, all of the things, testing all of the things. But it's so, so exciting. This update was long overdue. I really should have updated this book a couple of years ago, but it's one of those things. If you have a book out there, especially, I'm sure you can relate to this, that I'll get to it. And it was one of those things that kept like moving down the list. So it's been a really fun process to sort of, pull the book apart. Once you agree with yourself to do an update versus just, I'm going to update that ebook file, like here and there with a couple of things, fix a typo, update a statistic, etc. But once you commit to, a full new edition, then it takes on a life of its own, and you start, really pulling the book apart, like, when there's like a loose thread on your sweater and you start pulling it, and then next thing you know, it's a whole new thing. But it's been really exciting to kind of dig into each section of the book, which I actually ended up removing from this section. So the book used to be structured, if you look at the table of contents of first edition, second edition versus the third edition, I used to have the body of the book, the text separated into those three sections: Write, Publish, and Market. I actually pulled those out this time, combined a couple of chapters here and there. There's a new chapter, just sort of freshen things up, like, a fresh coat of paint. But also, like a safer, non-lead-based paint, if you will, right? So it's not just a fresh coat of paint. It's actually things that really needed to be updated to, talk about copyright and AI and copyright as it relates to AI within the book world and, all kinds of things like that, and how really business owners are using their books differently than they were 5 years ago when the second edition came out, because a lot has changed for business owners with regard to Amazon fatigue, with regard to the way people are shopping for books and purchasing books, the way business owners are leaning into using their books differently. So it was, overdue for a change. And I'm really excited to get it into people's hands. The launch team gave me really great feedback and reviews for other people to use. The beta feedback earlier on really helped shape, the new trajectory of the text and what I wanted readers to get out of it. Really helped me solidify all of that. And then that happened even further with the launch team, because again, I was really intentional about who I allowed to be part of the launch team. And I don't say that to be, it was such a exclusive group, anything like that. What I mean is that I specifically chose people who understand the book world, understand what I'm trying to do with this book, have read or understand the first earlier editions of this book so that they can sort of, really speak to the changes, have either written a book themselves, multiple books, multiple editions, or, are in the process of doing so. So it's really, I think, a really, really strong product on its own. And I think it can really help a lot of people. So I'm excited about that. And then, the flip side of that is I'm excited what it's going to do for me and for my business as well, as a way to sort of move people through my funnels and move through my sales cycle and, hopefully hire me to work one-on-one and get their book out into the world, to change their life and their business and, their clients' lives. So, it's a cyclical thing, but it's been a long time coming and I'm really, really excited. So I hope that you have enjoyed this peek behind the curtain. If you've missed any of those earlier episodes, go back and listen to them from start to finish. You'll get to hear, the updates of the process along the way, which I think, I love a peek behind the curtains myself. So especially if it's of a process that I either will be doing or have done myself. So the main takeaway I hope that you've gotten out of this series, if you've listened to this whole series, is something that I say all the time, is that yes, there are a lot of moving pieces. Yes, this is a project that is longer term, both to complete and to receive an ROI from, but it's so, so worth it. And it's so manageable while you're still running your business. You just have to make smart decisions and use those pockets of time. And hopefully this series has shown you that I practice what I preach. And if you have not checked out the book yet, I hope that you will do so. You can certainly find it anywhere books are sold, but I am encouraging you to go to my website and find out all about it there. You can, read some reviews there or read, thoughts about the book, see all kinds of, other goodies and everything there. That information is all in the show notes. And until next time, friends, happy Write, Publish, and Market. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Write.Publish.Market podcast. I know just how busy business owners and CEOs' schedules are, and I'm grateful you've taken some time out of yours to spend with me today. If you enjoyed this episode, take a quick screenshot and share it on social to let others know you're listening. Use the hashtag Write.Publish.Market to spread the love.